What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. Welcome to another episode of a Character Counters. And today we're taking a look at Paul Phoenix, and why not, considering he is played a shitload. He's one of the most popular characters in online Tekken and offline Tekken, we could say that as well. And a lot of people find him highly annoying to play against. So I think this makes for some good material, actually. He feels like a priority character. Just keep a few things in mind when you fight Mr. Skyscraper Hairdo, and things will be a lot easier, trust me. So the one thing what immediately comes to mind with Paul is the mix-up of the Demo Man and the Death Fist, and it's for pretty good reason. It's a very disgusting 50-50. And here's the thing with Paul. Paul is a very different character at this range than he is at this range. That little backdash there means the world when you fight against Paul. And it's because of that 50-50, and it is also because of his extremely strong throw game. So again, Paul's 50-50 is for below the Demo Man. He has for mid the devastating Death Fist. And then you also have to remember that up close he has access to probably one of the strongest throw games in the game. He has a break for every button, so he has command throws that cover 1, 2 and 1+2 breaks. He has a 1+2 throw that breaks walls, or at the very least wall splats you if you're close to a wall. And Paul is a monster at walls. But of course the thing with throws in this game is that a normal throw has range, whereas a command throw has very little range. And his Demo Man, unless he's standing right in your face, it will not float you and pick you up. You will be able to block the whole thing. So again, what am I getting at? As I said, Paul, some of his greatest strengths is his 50-50 and his throw game. If you just do one simple backdash like this, he is a completely different character. Suddenly he does not have access to those throws, and that 50-50 that is so scary is suddenly gone, because if he actually attempts to Demo Man from this range, you will be able to block it. You see? I'm actually standing quite close, but it doesn't float me. You have to be at point blank for this Demo Man to actually float you. So Paul's Demo Man is very different to a Hell Sweep. And now we're also going to explain that you don't really want to sidestep Paul. That's also a general rule, because unlike a Hell Sweep, this Demo Man tracks both sides. There's no side you can step here. So that's opposite to Paul's Death Fist, which is super steppable. But the Demo Man makes it so that you don't really want to sidestep Paul. And he has very strong homing moves overall, so I would not sidestep Paul. We're gonna get into more detail on this later. But I just want to reinforce again that he's a completely different character at this range compared to this range. If you are at this range, there's just not a whole lot Paul can threaten you with. Especially when it comes to lows. He will use quarter circle forward 3 that has some payoff should he get a counter hit. He gets a guaranteed Demo Man follow-up. But this low is -13, so it is quite punishable. But on normal hit, it's not very good. He doesn't get good frames from this. So again, my advice to you is, if that 50-50 scares you a lot, one simple backdash and you've neutered that 50-50 and his throw game. And don't try and sidestep Paul, because he has some of the best homing moves in the game. In quarter circle back 4, which also has considerable range. That's a high, but he also has up back 2, which is a mid. This also has considerable range. Back 1-2 is also a fantastic homing move that should also be mentioned. So I hope that is now clear to you. I will also show you guys how vulnerable this 50-50 is. So again, I'm standing a step away, and suddenly none of this is very threatening at all. If you use a fast long-range Punisher to punish the last hit of a demo man, you're just going to have to find the attack your character has. With Kazuya, for example, it's forward 2. With Heihachi, it's his Death Fist. Like so. The Death Fist is actually more punishable than a lot of people think. So this can be hard to do on reaction considering how fast the Death Fist is. But if you're playing against someone who's spamming the Death Fist over and over, make it hurt, you know. I can Dark Upper it. It's much easier to launch this with the electric. You can just do it from standing, actually. Sometimes if you block it from far away, you're going to have to do a dash electric. So it really depends on the range here. But a safe Punisher at all times is the long range option you have. That usually of course doesn't launch, but it's very safe and easy to do. So from long range it can be hard to Dark Upper punish or whatever launcher you have. But it works, you know, if I just dash into it, it works. So this way we can really make it hurt should the Paul player try and spam that. Again, he's very different if you step away, you neuter the throw game and all of that. If you're playing a Paul who spams Death Fist, please try and punish it. It's really not that hard. It's much easier than you think. And then we're gonna talk about the fact that this goes for like 80% of Paul players I've played against. If you manage to make it to this range, far away from him, he will usually do forward 4-2-1 or forward 4-4. For some reason, we just love to do that. And both of those options are super steppable. So if you make it far away from Paul, he's a very linear character. Very linear. Here, you don't sidestep, but at this range, it's usually a very good idea to sidewalk. Due to the Paul player will probably throw something super steppable your way. When Paul is in rage, you really have to respect Paul. More than any other character in this game, when Mr. Phoenix is in rage, it's like he can win. You know, yeah, I just want to stress this, that when Paul is in rage, it doesn't matter if he has 1 HP or if you have a full health bar. He can easily get a comeback here where he completely destroys you. So when Paul is in rage, you just have to be very careful, because any launcher he has, you know, down for 2 being safe, any launcher here is going to destroy you. So when he is in rage, I just want to stress, like, be very, very careful. The Rage Drive Death Fist is also absurdly powerful. So it's a disgusting Rage Drive. And of course, you've probably seen all of this stuff, but yeah, might as well show it. You see, it's like, I think he's the character that is the most brutal with rage, so be very cautious in how you approach Rage Paul. Wait for him to commit to something and do something punishable, and punish him. Don't try and attack him. And then this is a position you really want to avoid when facing Paul, and it is you with your back towards the wall and Paul pressuring you, because if he gets up close, his 50-50 is, pardon my language, retarded at the wall, and he has a wall splatting throw in forward 1+2. Try and get away. You know, of course he has wall splatting homing moves that are very fast, but you just have to get out of there any way you can. It's a very dangerous position. Learn to block his arm sweep. I see, unfortunately, a lot of people eat this. It's super slow. It's minus 12, I think. I think it's minus 12. So you only get a while standing 4, you know, a weak punish. But it's so slow that it should be an easy low parry to you. So low parry it for bigger damage. But you have to learn to at least do something about this. At least block it. You can't allow him to have that on you as a 50-50. It's super slow. And of course, a classic Paul option is the forward 2-1. This is used a lot. Learn to duck this. Most people use that option. There's of course a mix-up here where this is mid-high. There's also a mid-mid. But just learn to duck that on reaction. It's used a lot. And then you'll see Paul players use this option, the mid-mid. This one is minus 12, so back 1-2. Yeah, make sure he can't abuse that stuff. And then we have the shoulder. This is launch punishable. It has some pushback. So here, unfortunately, I can't use my hop kick. Armor King's hop kick has really bad range, but I think a lot of hop kicks will tag Paul here. Unless, yeah, there's... if you're not standing at close-up range, due to the pushback, it's gonna become harder. But I can dark upper here. It's not too hard, but it is a little bit tight. Nice. So please, this is actually one of the most important anti-Paul strats, well, details, and it's that shoulder is very good. It's 12 frames fast. It's the fastest shoulder in the game. It has good high crush. Paul has a lot of high crush overall. Be careful about jabbing against Paul. It can hurt a lot. But please make sure to launch punish that shoulder. His power crush is very annoying. It's got a lot of range. It's perfectly safe on block. It's really annoying on block. But again, as I said before, if you're standing far away from Paul, don't be afraid of sidewalking the character, because most of the stuff is just so steppable. I just took it to the face. But this is steppable to both sides. Can't really mistime it though. I can't stand too close to him. So this just goes in line with what I said at the start. Like, don't stand right next to Paul. But overall, at this range, one step away, we neuter the 50-50. But one more step away, I don't advise to sidestep at this range either, due to the range of quarter circle back 4. But if you are at this range, here just sidestep away versus Paul, in my opinion. And now we're gonna take a look at the always so annoying ultimate tackle. This one is the classic, you've seen it before. He does 2-1-1 into roll around choke, and it does like 40% of your health. If you want to dodge this, if the pole player does this all the time, you can just mash the 1 button, just repeatedly. There's no timing involved. Mash, 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 no problem. Like so. Most pole players will go for that if you see the ultimate tackle. And then they can also, of course, go for this. Or they can do the armbar immediately. If we do the armbar, know that if you mash 1+2 over and over, you can actually break it quite easily. And I fucked it up. Yeah, so just mash 1+2. Oh god, I can't mash a button? Wow. It's not hard, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm finally doing it. No, Ronda Rousey, you may not do that. So as usual, you know, I make everything look hard when I'm recording, but just mash 1+2, so that's how you deal with those options. And then a lot of Pauls love to do hop kicks. They'll do a single one, or they do the double, upward 3-4. You're going to have to learn to recognize these, but all of them, just back 1-2. Oh, I fucked it up. Punish. 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 So you have to recognize here what leg is he using first. Is it the left leg or the right leg? But that is Paul. That's how you deal with Paul. So the most important stuff was mentioned at the start, and then we went into details. But remember, the character is a very different character from this range compared to this range. And then he changes again here and again here. So I hope all of this made sense, and I hope it helps you dealing with Paul. Take care.